everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday and a happy Labor Day to my fellow countrymen. Today I'm coming at you with another Minks Monday Q&A, so let's get started with the very first question from Megan Kenny. Minnie, I have a very bony collarbone / shoulder area. I really want a Chanel Classic single flap, but I'm very nervous to purchase and have it weigh too much and hurt my shoulder after wearing it all day. Please share your thoughts if you would be so kind. Okay, you got it. So when it comes to the single flap, obviously it's a lot lighter than the new double flaps because they don't have that extra flap on there, so they don't have extra leather. Plus, when they introduced the double flaps, they made it so that the bag was a little bit more structured and it didn't lose its structure. So when it comes to the single flap, I think you'll be okay. I've always heard people rave about the single flap, that it's very lightweight and you can still carry as much in there because you don't have that extra flap with the newer ones. But, I mean, like I said, I think you'll be okay with it. The jumbo is really where it starts to get tricky with the double flaps. But when it comes to the singles, seriously, I have heard all the rave reviews out there about how great the single flaps are, and unfortunately they don't make them anymore. They don't have them at the boutiques for you to actually try on and see if that's something that you would like, but I honestly think you'll be okay. I have had a few girlfriends that have had surgery on their shoulders or just on their upper body, and sometimes the heavier bags are just too much. Even though they love them, it really kills them after wearing it all day. And I do have one girlfriend that does have a single flap and she loves it. And she did have, like I said before, she did have surgery and she hasn't had any problems with it. So I think you will be okay. Plus, it's great because you can fit so much more in there because you don't have to worry about that extra leather taking space. Okay, GCBY Cat. What Chanel wallet would you recommend to someone who doesn't have one and thinking of purchasing my first one? And thinking of either the zip wallet, the billfold, or the small double wallet. What are your thoughts and which one would you pick? Okay, so when it comes to Chanel wallets are very pricey. They start out at a very high price point, in my opinion, when it comes to pretty much a medium to a full-size wallet. So what I always suggest with any kind of wallet or any introduction to any type of line, I always suggest to start with a smaller SLG to see how you'll like the leather, because you might end up buying lambskin, but really you wanted caviar leather for Chanel or vice versa. So I always say to start out small, see how you like it, test it out, wear it, and you never know, you might end up purchasing something different. But because they are such a big investment when it comes to Chanel wallets, I always suggest that. But if that is not something that you want to do, I would probably do the zip wallet, just because it's the best of both worlds. You have enough space in there to carry some of your essentials, plus you have the added security of the zipper. So that's the one that I would choose. But honestly, I always suggest going with a smaller item first and testing out the brand to see if that's something that you really like. Okay, Yarden Whites, what would you say your makeup essentials are? Say you have to keep your makeup collection to a minimum. Glosses too. Which items would you have? Okay, so when it comes to makeup, I know a few of you have asked me to do tutorials on my eyeshadow and stuff like that, but I don't really... I feel silly sometimes wanting to do it because I don't have any tricks. I don't use any really fancy lotions or anything like that. I rarely use moisturizer, which I know I should, but my makeup routine is very simple. I don't have anything to kind of, make my cheekbones stand out, or I don't do anything like that. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But when it comes to the essentials, definitely first and foremost would be mascara. I love mascara. Obviously, you guys know I always talk about it on my channel. Another thing would have to be my anything for my eyebrows, because way back when I used to never do my eyebrows, and when I look back at some of the pictures, it's yikes. It is scary because eyebrows make such a statement on your face. It's crazy. So it would be mascara, eyeliner, eyeshadow, my brows, blush, And I'd say either 1 lip gloss and 1 lipstick. That's 7. What am I missing? I know I'm missing something. Oh, and foundation. So 8. I have 8 essentials really that I would keep. Right? Does that sound about right? Yeah, because I don't use anything else. BB creams, I rarely use them unless I find a really great one. Or yeah, I don't like the illuminators and stuff like that. I don't really use any of that. Sometimes I use bronzer that has illuminator in it, but other than that, not really. It's pretty simple. It takes me, no joke, like 10 minutes to do my makeup. I'm not in the bathroom forever doing my makeup. It's usually, what takes the longest for me is always getting ready as far as clothes, because I can do my makeup really quick. My hair, it's pretty much just, what it is, or I put it up in a little, poof, but it's the clothes that takes forever. So yes, those would be my essentials, my 8 essential, very, very minimum of a collection. Okay, Maggie Benavar. So this weekend I went to Louis Vuitton inside of Neiman Marcus in San Antonio, Texas for my very first purchase, for my very first time. I approached a sales associate and started asking her questions regarding my future purchase. One thing I have been researching is the cracking on the Louis Vuitton Damier Ebene Neverfull. I asked her how common this is happening, and she stated that it never happens, and if it's happening, it's because the owner is not taking care of it. That's a lie. So then I asked how to take care of the Neverfull so that the cracking won't happen, and she said not to use it all the time. My husband looked at me with a facial expression like saying, so why would you buy a purse if you can't use it? What are your thoughts on the sales associate's response? I think it was a poor response, to be honest. If I worked for Louis Vuitton and someone asked me, I think if I worked for a high-end luxury seller, who knows, I might get fired in the first day, because I'm going to be very honest. I'm not going to try to sell someone something just to try to make a sale. And I know that they don't make commission, so it's not a part of that. But I would rather you feel comfortable in talking to the sales associate and really listening for what it is that you want. And I mean, for her to say that it doesn't happen and that it's because the owner isn't taking care of it, that is a bold-faced lie. Because there's so many of us on this community that we have talked about this, that it's a recurring thing when it comes to Damier Ebene. The fact that it is a coated canvas is great. You don't have to worry about the vachetta. You don't have to worry about patina, but you do have to worry about the cracking. And the only reason it does crack on some of these on some of the smaller, the little trimmings on top of the Neverfull is because it's a very thin part of a piece of leather that has the coated canvas on it, so it will happen, or I'm sorry, that has the coating over the leather, so it will happen over time. But I think that is a terrible response. Obviously, she doesn't know her product as well as she should. And I would always advise someone, I have heard of people saying that it does crack. And for if you are investing in a Louis Vuitton piece, and let's say it's your very first one and it's your only one that you're going to get in your entire life, obviously you want to get as much use out of that bag as possible. I don't think that spending anywhere near, $1,300 for a bag and using it a week every month is good for it. No, I mean, you want to be able, like I said before, to get as much use as possible out of it. So if I were her, I would have said something like, I have heard of people saying that it cracks. One thing you could do is make sure you don't try to overstuff it, because sometimes with the Neverfulls, if you put too much in there, you're creating that much pressure and that much, not pressure, but you're creating, it's too much weight on the bottom of the bag, so it starts to kind of pull. So sometimes that's because it's overstuffed with items. But I would always try to think of a solution first, or I'd try to research a solution and then get back to that person just so I can be as thorough as possible. But No, I agree with your husband. If you're going to spend that much money on a bag, why not try to use it as much as you can and as often as you can without having to worry about it cracking? And honestly, if you were that worried about the cracking, I would always, if I was the sales associate, I would always advise you to get a different Neverfull in a different print, or maybe a different bag altogether, so that you didn't have to worry about that. They have to at some point, they have to think of, okay, it's not so much about selling this particular bag. It's about making the customer feel great. It's about the customer feeling comfortable, and it's about really listening to the customer and seeing what suits their lifestyle the best. You know, because if they help you with this one item, who knows, you might be back 3-6 months later and say, you know what, I want to come back to Sally because she really helped me out. She really listens to what I need, and I trust her judgment. So I agree with your husband, and I think it was very poor on the sales associate's behalf. Sorry, that's just how I feel. Okay, Jeanette Tescan, and Laura Greenfield, they had similar questions. What do you think of the Tiffany Diamond by the Yard single diamond necklace? I love the single diamond necklace, the Diamonds by the Yard from Tiffany. When it comes to fashion jewelry, I am very gaudy. I like, you know, sparkles. I like bling. I like stuff like that. But when it comes to fine jewelry, I prefer the very simple, the very classic details. So for me, just having one single diamond on a necklace, I think that looks fantastic. I think it looks very flawless, extremely chic. And I always, if anyone has ever asked me, you know, should I get it? Yes, definitely go for it. It is quite an investment piece, and it is something that you can use all the time. You don't necessarily have to dress up when you're using it. You can use it at any point in time, and it looks fantastic. So with fine jewelry, I like the simple details, not too much, not just kind of in your face. But when it comes to fashion, heck yeah, I'm a whole lot of gaudy. Okay, Cindy Licious, what are the items on your current wish list? Do you think Chanel CC studs are worth their price? Ooh, this is a good question. What is on my current wish list? Okay, so what's on my current wish list? I really only have one item, and that is a Louis Vuitton mini pochette. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else that I really want. There's things that I want in the future, like a Chanel mini flap in the patent leather, maybe a red or a pink. But yeah, I don't really have anything that's really calling to my name, which is a good thing because I've been pretty bad lately. And when it comes to the mini pochette, I actually have a video for you guys later this week where we will be talking about that. So I'm not gonna talk too much into detail about it, but for the most part, I've been pretty good. But no, that's it for the wish list. And when it comes to the Chanel CC stud earrings, I actually thought about doing a review on them. I get questions on the Chanel studs quite a bit, and I just want to give people my 2 cents on it. Okay, so when it comes to the Chanel studs, I love them. I'm obsessed with them. I own 5 pairs of them, and I use them quite a bit. However, it depends on the style that you get, that sometimes that you don't get the, not the full effect, but they tend to not have the best wear and tear. I have in here, I'm going to show you guys mine. This is the first pair of a Chanel CC earrings that I got. My hubby bought these for me. Give me just a second. I'm having a hard time talking again today. Okay, so here they are. They bought them for me. I think it was 2 years ago. I don't even remember. And a lot of the complaints when it comes to the CC earrings are the fact that the little studs, if they have Strass crystals, will end up falling out. Now, you can get them replaced, absolutely, and I will talk about that in just a second. But I also wanted to show you guys some wear and tear that I had on mine, and I'm so bummed out about it. Oh, actually, it fell off as well. So on the back of any CC studs, you usually have a little indentation, little emblem that says the year that they were made, and it says Chanel Paris on there, right? There's nothing on the back of that one, and there's nothing on the back of that one. Okay, I actually have it in here because, let me get it out. I think I might have lost it actually. Oh no, it's right here. Hang on. Bear with me for just a second. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It is tiny. All right. So this little guy right here goes on the back of my earring. It fell off. I already lost the other one. So it really made me really sad because it has the date on there when, you know, when they were purchased and stuff like that. So they were on the back of this. I went to Chanel and I asked them, you know, I said, hey, can I get this repaired? What can I do? Is there anything that you guys can do for it? They told me, yes, we can repair it. Absolutely. If you purchased it at Neiman Marcus, or if it's Saks Fifth Avenue, or wherever they have a Chanel counter in a department store, you have to take it back to that place. From what they told me. I don't know. It could be wrong. And anyways, they said that they can fix it, and it was going to be $80. $80 to fix what happened to these little earrings. $80. The crystals are still on there. So can you imagine how much more it would be for crystals? And they said that it would take anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks to fix the ones. She's all, oh, well, you're lucky. You already have one. So maybe we could just replace the other one. Still, for $80, I think that is insane. Especially because you're already paying a hefty price for costume jewelry. So, I mean, I go back and forth. Do I love them? Yes. Do I think they're great? Yes. Do I think they're worth it? Sometimes not necessarily. If you get something that doesn't have crystals, I think that's a better way to go. And I know with their new, with the new earrings that they've been doing, they've actually been taking off that little plaque, and they've actually been putting it on the earring itself so that doesn't happen. But regardless, I think, I mean, that sucks, right? It sucks because you're spending, like I said, now they're $450 for the small ones, or $350. And to worry about that potentially happening, I mean, it's not the best thing area. And you guys know I am a stickler when it comes to how I treat my items and how I take care of them. So for that to have happened like a year into using them, yeah, I wasn't excited about it, especially because I didn't use them very much so in the beginning. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Okay, Ariel Sanchez. If you had to choose between the Louis Vuitton Alma PM or the Aurelia MM, which one would it be? Both are in multicolor noir. Well, for those of you that don't know, the Aurelia MM is probably the closest thing to what a multicolor Neverfull would look like. It's a tote style. You could put it on your shoulder. The only difference is that on the front, I believe it has an adjustable buckle. I think it might be decorative though, but it has a little pocket with a buckle on the front. And as much as I'm obsessed with multicolor, maybe they've never made a multicolor Neverfull, because to me the Aurelia looks very, very, very replicate. It looks fake. It looks like it's a replica already, in my opinion. Can I appreciate the fact that they were trying to make it a multicolored tote? Absolutely. Would I have loved to have seen them Neverfull? I would have. But then when I think about it, I don't know. I think it might have looked fake. Is it just me? It just seems like it would have been maybe a little too much, to where it wasn't very appealing. Maybe, I don't know, because I've seen so many replicas, so many fake Neverfulls with the multicolor pattern on there. Obviously, they never made that. But I don't know. I think it's too much. So for me and my preference, I would choose the Alma PM in the multicolor. I just think it looks a lot classier and it looks a little bit more classic. Okay, Sandra Ortiz 58. Not sure if you have answered this question before. If you could only own one Chanel bag between the Chanel wallet on chain or the GST, which one would it be and why? Ooh, tough question. I have them here to talk about them. Let me take them out of the dust bag. Give us some eye candy for today, right? Because so far we just have Chanel earrings. Okay, so as much as I love the WOC, I think it's a great versatile piece. You can use it in so many different aspects of your life. And here's the GST. Between the two, honestly, I would have to pick the GST. To me, I like totes. I like the fact that I can pretty much fit as much as I can in here and nothing will happen to it, versus this one you have to really think about what it is that you're going to use, or you have to go really compact with this one versus this one. And I just really like the silhouette of it. I think it's very comfortable to wear. I love this bag, and I haven't used it in a bit. because I've been using the boy and the classic flap, but I love this, and I still haven't had any problems with the sagging, which makes me very, very happy. So it would have to be the Chanel GST for that, out of those two. Okay, all right, Deborah Gagliato. I recently bought a Louis Vuitton bag and had buyer's remorse. Excuse me. I went to Chance It and asked for new suggestions. This time, my sales associate wasn't that nice, lacking patience. What do you think we should do when this happens? Great question. Okay, so I recently had, I have two sales associates for Chanel. I have one down south and I have one up north. And the one up north, every time I'd ask her for something, I either wouldn't hear back from her, or it just seemed like I was pulling teeth when I'd get a hold of her. So finally, one day, call it what you will, call me a diva, call me the B word, whatever it is. But because I had her phone number, so I texted her and I said, is there, can you point me in the direction of someone that's going to respond back to me? Immediately, I got her attention. And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, every time I ask you for something, or every time obviously I know you're busy, so I look forward to hearing back with you or from you within a couple days, or, even within a week. But when I don't hear back from you in a month or 2 months, and I'm asking you a question about a product, or, what do you think about this? And you never respond, it makes me think that, okay, I'm bothering you, and obviously you don't have time for me, so I would like to find someone that has time for me. And I told my husband about it, and he was like, oh my God. I'm like, no, it's not fair. I keep going back to the same sales associate, so obviously there's a type of trust there, there's a type of communication there, so when that happens, it's kind of like, okay, so then, I'm going to keep spending money on this brand, or I'm going to keep purchasing this, and I'd really like to feel comfortable with one sales associate. I don't want to go into a store and have 10 different sales associates help me, from random times. So I know what you mean. I was very direct with mine, and she's like, no, I apologize. And then after that, we had a very open communication. She was just like, hey, I can't get back to you, or I'm going on vacation. Fine, absolutely. I understand that they're busy and they can't, they're not at my beck and call. I get that. I 100% understand that. But when, like I said before, when you don't hear back from them, or it feels like you're bothering them, okay, then you know what? I'm going to find someone else, because obviously you don't have time for me. And maybe it made the relationship better. I don't know. But I always say you can ask the sales associate nicely. I was fed up with mine because we had issues in the past. So mine's a little, like I said, a little bit of a different situation, similar, but a little bit different. You can always ask the sales associate, you know what? I can't decide, what are your thoughts? It seems like you don't really care. You can call them out on it. Absolutely. I would call out anybody with anything if something's going on. I am a very direct person, and I am very, I don't like to beat around the bush at all when it comes to certain things. I like to get to the point and talk about it. And who knows, maybe the sales associate isn't feeling working with that person anymore. Maybe you would be a better suit with someone else. But I always say you can ask them and say, am I bothering you? Am I doing something like that? You can be nice about it. You could be a jerk about it. You could be however you want to be about it. But like I said before, I was just up to my wit's end with mine, and it made it better. But you can always say something. You don't have to. Just because they work at Louis Vuitton, just because they work at Chanel, that doesn't mean they're any better than you, and they should treat you with respect, and they should treat you like when you go into a boutique. I've actually heard the manager say, act as if that customer is the only one in the store. So when they're not giving you that attention, obviously I think something should be said, in my opinion. Okay, Pally 1240. Which items do you see yourself never selling? Okay, this is very easy. I have 3 items on my list that I would never ever sell. One of them being my Chanel Jumbo, the Speedy 30 Multicolor Blanc, and my Louis Vuitton 6-ring key holder. Now, if I absolutely had to sell all of my bags, or every single item, and I was only allowed to keep one, it would still be this one. Definitely. Oh, and another one I would have to be the Mon Mono Speed 30. So it would be these 4 items that I would keep. But if I only could keep one item, and they said, you know what, you have to get rid of everything and only keep one, it would be my 6-ring key holder. You guys know how much I love this piece. I talk about it so much in every single video, every chance that I can, I talk about it. So I think this is a great investment piece. But who knows, since I don't have any more bags, I don't really need that, right? Okay, and last question, Delma Church. Have you ever been treated better in places, restaurants, stores, etc., when carrying your Louis Vuitton than you would be when not carrying it? This is a fantastic question. No, I have never, ever, ever been treated differently when I carry my Louis Vuitton. There was one time, I think we were looking at, what were we doing? We were looking at, my husband was purchasing his Jeep, and we were there, and I don't remember, when it comes to purchasing cars, sometimes they like to haggle. I don't like to haggle. I always go in there and I say, look, this is what I can afford. This is what I want to get. Can you do it? If you can, great. If not, I don't want to keep going back and forth. Like I said, I'm very, very direct. And I think when he was getting the Jeep, the guy came back and he said, well, obviously you have good taste. Obviously you have money because you have this purse and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, this purse has nothing to do with the car. So that was the only time it was really brought up. Other than that, I can't think of a single time when someone has looked at me and then looked at my bag and said, oh, we'll take care of you this way, or we'll take care of you or take care of you over there. But I've never, ever really thought, no, I don't think so. I don't think so anyways. I've never had, preferential treatment with anything like that. Yeah. So that does it. But that does it for our Minks Monday Q&A. Thank you guys so much for all the wonderful questions. I know that lately they've been a little bit shorter, but like I said before, I've had a little bit of an issue talking like I did today. I was fine when I woke up, and then all of a sudden I'm having problems. I feel very tongue-tied. But thank you guys so much for asking all the wonderful questions. I hope I was able to answer them in depth, and there were a few that I had to answer online. But I have a very fun and exciting week for you this week. And like I said, we'll talk about the mini pochette later this week. But I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.